All right, this is the Get Better at Conversation course. This is the overview. Number one, prerequisites, just yet. Number two, problems of not getting better. Number three, mindset. Number four, how to actually get better. Frame. Number five. Six is the framework. Seven is the introduction. Number eight is getting a lab system. Number nine is film study slash life study. We can we begin this course, everything has to be not in a rush. So if you're over here looking to rush, then you probably won't succeed. Let's start with number one. Sorry. Prerequisites. Be able to just yap and not focus on someone having to say something as a cue for you to respond. So you should be able to just the other person sit in silence, and you just yap and just talking about random shit. When you can do that, that's when everything becomes easier. A side note, women speak on the average of 21,845 words a day, and men only 7,000. So you know what that means. Put that in perspective. How many words do you say a day? You probably only say like 500, maybe 1,000 words. If you're not using 7,000 words a day, that could be a indicator why you cannot speak. Problems. These are some of the problems people have when trying to get better. The problems you're facing and the reason why you're not getting better at conversations is because you have no experience, meaning you're not talking to nobody. In order for you to get better, you have to talk to people. That's like saying, "Oh, I want to be in the NBA, but you don't play basketball. How are you gonna get better at basketball if you don't play?" You might think about playing, you might daydream about playing, but until you get in the game, get those reps in, you can't get better. The next one is skipping steps during the learning stage. With this course, you have to go layer by layer, inch by inch. If you skip steps, then that's when everything seems funny. Rushing learning is the same thing with skipping steps. You have to take your time and have to process your mistakes and process what people are saying. Because if you don't do that, you're going to just stay stuck. Another problem people have is they don't know what to say. The reason for this is because you don't know what part of the framework you're on, or you haven't memorized or practiced how to respond to the type of things people say, which makes you feel like you're on an island, meaning you're stuck and you're blank. Like we all have in a conversation, and all of a sudden you don't know what to say. It's just you literally don't think of nothing. The reason for that is you don't know how to respond to the type of things people say, because you should be able to just yap, 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 and just say whatever. But once you figure out where you're on that island, then you know where to grab your trees, grab the plants, grab the apples. You know where the shelter is. You know where the waves come up on that island, where you need to hide. All that. So at the end of this course, you will know what to do. The last one is you think you're magically going to become a good conversationist. No, that's not going to happen. Because you're talking to somebody doesn't mean you're getting better. You might just be making the same mistakes. Everything has a pattern and everything has a process, and you should always have a system when you're talking to people out in the world, because the main reason why you talk is so you can lead the conversation to get what you want, not what the other person wants, to get what you want. People say, "Oh, you gotta listen," but no, you listen for your own benefit. That's the key thing. Mindset. Make an effort to memorize each layer. You will understand that once you see how the layers go and the layer system goes. The only way to become good is to master layers on each of the framework. This is called the layered learning system. Mastering one layer makes the next layer easier to learn. The goal for this is to gain the skill to say whatever and have them, meaning to have the person you're talking to react to you instead of you reacting to them, which means you're leading and carrying the conversation. And also, you'll be able to have this skill to counterpunch and carry the fight. Remember, this is about you, not them. Get your shit off and you allow them to speak, strategically setting traps that makes them speak before you practice. Before you practice, please memorize the framework for conversation. Because when you're in the field and when you're actually getting in the work and putting the reps in, you'll know what part of the map you're on, which allows you to learn from your mistakes and easily transition to the next part of the framework. It's like having a mind map and you know what to do once you're on that part of the map. And also have a frame or a character you're working on, meaning trying to portray. Pay attention what type of frame you're trying to convey while on that specific part of the framework. But for this, when we start, we're just gonna be we're gonna start the regular frame, your natural self. You're not acting, you're just being you. How to get better and where to get better on. We all know this. You gotta pick a frame and get on Monkey or someone that doesn't matter, aka someone who you do not care about looking stupid in front of, because first impression is everything and people are weird, so you gotta get your practice in on people that do not matter. Again, like I always say, have a focus on what part of the conversation you're working on. And when you're done, fix mistakes by taking notes of what was said by you and the other person. This is going to be the hardest part, but this is the hardest and tedious part. Fix your grammar mistakes and practice out loud what they said and what you said. And keep note, if you do this on a regular basis, you will get better. If you have 100 notes and you continuously practice, there is no way you don't get better. Also, if you grind something the first day, the next time you review or / practice, you only have to review a few times, meaning you watch the whole video, you only got 5 notes. Practice those 5 notes for like an hour. And then the next day you review it, you only got to do it for like 5 minutes. That is the only way you can do it, because that is your cue or your relation of that when you do it is the framework. Memorize the order. Why? Because everything becomes easier once you memorize. The first is the tester, which is optional. You don't have to do it. The tester is saying, excuse me, basically checking on what type of mood the person is in you're talking to. The next is introduction. Introduction is how you introduce the conversation or introduce yourself. Transition is when you transition out of the introduction. Not they transition, you transition. So you have to use your phrases or a way to transition to talk about what you want to talk about. If you don't do that, you do not transition. General conversation is you are just now talking about what you want to talk about. Then all of a sudden, that's when everything becomes, you just both yap and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Conclusion is how you end.